Subscribe to MTL World at Middle World 1 YouTube channel. Swallowed Star 2, Origin Continent. Volume 9, Advancing Through the Darkness. Chapter 10 348 2 High-Level Hanuan Lifeforms. 10th of Volume 9. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Deep within a grand hall of the Hanuan Palace, a silver-haired, silver-browed man and a woman in fiery red robes knelt together, patiently awaiting. Swoosh. An invisible wave descended and transformed into an old man who was none other than Senior Yuan, who had met Luo Feng before. My lord. The silver-haired man and the woman in red robes both greeted with utmost reverence. Although both of them were high-level Hanuan beings who had already transcended the cage, it was precisely because they had broken free that they understood the vast gap between themselves and the Lord. Zhe Yi, Feiya. Yuan said with a smile, the Dark Holy Realm has finally nurtured someone at the Invincible Realm. Yes, his name is Luo Feng. He comes from the origin continent of the origin world and has only been in the Dark Holy Realm for 1,000 epochs. The silver-browed man, Zhe Yi, reported. The woman, Feiya, in the fiery robe added, his spiritual will hasn't transcended the cage, nor has he recultivated the Hanuan bloodline system, yet his strength has already reached the Invincible Realm. A sliver of Yuan's consciousness had descended in the Dark Holy Realm. Nothing that occurred within it could escape his notice. He already knew everything about Luo Feng. Luo Feng. Yuan looked distantly in his direction. At that moment, Luo Feng had commanded the collapse of space-time. The 15 from the secret void, including God Emperor Mixu, were kneeling, while the 8 heavenly wolf companions stood trembling in fear. Wuxia and the other 2 waited at the side. A little fellow I remember from the origin continent. Yuan, of course, recognized Luo Feng. He made it a point to observe every ultimate realm born within his territory in the source world. Another one from the origin world. Yuan shook his head lightly. Despite the billions of worlds we have created, although far exceeding the origin world in number, the origin of those billions of worlds still falls short compared to the origin world. The lifeforms they nurture have clearly weaker cultivation potential. There may be billions of worlds, even stronger bloodlines, and many more God Emperors. But as time goes on, the proportion of powerful beings from the origin world continues to dominate. All who eventually become Hanuan lords are inevitably from the origin world. Does the Lord intend to guide Luo Feng? The silver-haired man asked. No, Yuan replied, still looking at Luo Feng. He is only one step away from completing the semi-Hanuan Tao of life and death. He's currently perfecting it. We shouldn't disturb him now. Once he fully completes it, I will come for him. But he is already at the Invincible Realm. Any practitioner in the Dark Holy Realm who reaches the Invincible Realm is usually guided, the silver-haired man emphasized. Let them be confused, Yuan smiled. What I truly seek are those on the verge of transcending the cage. Anyone who satisfies one of these 3 transcending the cage with their spiritual will, achieving results in refining the world-class Hanuan bloodline, or reaching the semi-Hanuan level in fusion path cultivation, I will personally guide. Luo Feng has not yet met any of these. We understand. The woman in red said. A spiritual will that transcends the cage can resist higher forms of spiritual pollution and is likely to refine into a high-level Hanuan bloodline to become a high-level Hanuan lifeform. One who achieves results in refining a world-class Hanuan bloodline can also easily become a high-level Hanuan lifeform. Zhe Yi said. But Luo Feng's life and death Tao hasn't even reached semi-Hanuan realm, so how can he be so powerful? Feiya, the woman in red, looked puzzled. The silver-haired man also appeared confused. Yuan smiled. Even within the same fusion path, levels of strength vary. Yuan looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng pursues an extreme Tao in his life and death cultivation. Although such paths are difficult to walk, they grant immense power. An extreme Tao. Zhe Yi nodded slightly. Fusion paths should ideally maintain balance. Once you go to extremes, the difficulty will increase rapidly. Yuan gazed at Luo Feng with great interest. I'm very curious to see how far Luo Feng will go. Yuan usually only gave passing attention to ultimate realm practitioners in the origin world and only paid a bit more attention to those at the Invincible Realm. But a semi-Hanuan fusion path practitioner. Yuan looked forward to them immensely. You two keep a close eye on Luo Feng. Notify me the moment he reaches the semi-Hanuan realm. Yuan ordered. Yes. Both Zhe Yi and Feiya responded with reverence. Yuan immediately vanished. By now, the collapsed space-time had returned to peace. Within 1,000 epochs, we will surely gather sufficient compensation. The 15, including God Emperor Mixu, expressed sincerity. Before an invincible realm existence, they dared not have any stray thoughts, only tried to appease this being. Luo Feng nodded. Let's go, he said, immediately boarding the ship with Wuxia, Bai Yin, and Qijun. Farewell, God Emperor Luo Feng. The 8 heavenly wolf companions bowed deeply, still gripped by fear. They were grateful that Luo Feng, the invincible realm god emperor, had not vented his wrath on them. A rift in space opened up, and the distant ship vanished through it in an instant, disappearing at the edge of the world. Long-distance spatial traversal. Boxiu, Bai Yin, and Qijun could clearly sense the ship cutting through dimensional rifts, each passage covering vast distances. This was undoubtedly high-level, long-range space travel shuttle. Luo Feng glanced at them. He hadn't rushed earlier because he was curious about God Emperor Mixu and the others. Defeating the combined force of those 15 was proof enough of his invincible realm strength. From that battle, it was evident their combined strength was nothing special. Luo Feng had no doubt. He was now considered invincible realm by the standards of the Dark Holy Realm. Invincible realm practitioners are said to be guided by Senior Yuan and others. Why hasn't anyone come for me yet? Luo Feng wondered. He hadn't rushed his journey, partly to verify his own strength, partly to demonstrate it in hopes of being guided. Brother Luo Feng. Boxiu, though emotionally stirred, was sharp enough to sense Luo Feng's confusion. He said immediately, now that you've shown your invincible realm strength openly, I'm sure Senior Yuan and the others will come to guide you soon. Boxiu added, they're very busy. Even if it takes a few thousand epochs, that's normal. Luo Feng nodded and no longer retained control of this observation ship and rushed to Hanuan City at extremely high speed through the cracks in space. In Chengfeng City, some peak-level existences even dispatched clones outside the city to witness the grand battle. The God Emperor Mixu and the 8 heavenly wolf companions have returned. Through cause and effect inductions, they confirmed that the fastest ones, God Emperor Mixu and the 8 heavenly wolf companions, had all returned. It seems the plundering has concluded. I can sense that Boxiu and the others are still alive and heading straight toward Hanuan City. It's likely that Emperor Luo Feng was no match and thus surrendered voluntarily, offering tens of trillions of Hanuan crystals, which could be the reason why the God Emperor Mixu spared them. These peak-level beings made their own assumptions. Based on the result, Luo Feng's side, the God Emperor Mixu's side, and the 8 heavenly wolf companions, all 3 parties returned unscathed. So they assumed Luo Feng's group had bowed their heads and handed over treasures to avoid bloodshed. What exactly happened? City Lord Feng Chao was also puzzled. Boxiu is clever, and that Luo Feng is incredibly deep. How could it be so easy to plunder tens of trillions of Hanuan crystals from them? But none of the 3 parties have appeared. Brother Mixu, please come to meet me. City Lord Feng Chao was direct and immediately sent a message to the God Emperor Mixu. I heard you plundered tens of trillions of Hanuan crystals from God Emperor Luo Feng. In Chengfeng City, in terms of individual status, City Lord Feng Chao ranked first, while the God Emperor Mixu ranked second. No. On his way back, the God Emperor Mixu quickly refuted the rumor upon receiving the message. God Emperor Luo Feng's strength is unmatched across the entire Dark Holy Realm. How could we possibly plunder tens of trillions of Hanuan crystals from him? What did you say? City Lord Feng Chao was stunned and immediately asked, you are saying he's unmatched in Dark Holy Realm? Unmatched. God Emperor Mixu confirmed. God Emperor Luo Feng is an invincible realm existence. City Lord Chao was a little dazed. An invincible realm existence had been residing in his Chengfeng City for 1,000 epochs. He had even conducted several transactions with him and profited from them. I made a profit off an invincible realm existence's resources. At this moment, City Lord Feng Chao could only feel immense regret. A great opportunity had once been right before him. He had missed it. He came to the Dark Holy Realm just 1,000 epochs ago, and hadn't even entered the Grand Hanuan Hall, yet he had already reached the invincible realm. What a terrifying potential. City Lord Feng Chao gritted his teeth. I must go over. Even a tiny bit of his guidance would be worth it. He immediately decided to send a major clone to the Grand Hanuan Hall and to quickly inform his senior brother. City Lord Feng Chao's senior brother was none other than the Zhulong Daojun, 9 Dragons Dao Lord, who resided in Hanuan City's Grand Hanuan Hall. Hanuan City, the first and foremost city of the Dark Holy Realm. Whoosh! From a crack in space, a ship suddenly appeared outside Hanuan City. We've arrived. Boxiu and Bai Yin looked at Hanuan City just ahead. It had taken only a moment to arrive. Luo Feng's gaze was already locked on the massive Grand Hanuan Hall within the city. Inside this hall, 2 high-level Hanuan lifeforms were also observing Luo Feng. He's here, said Feya as she watched. According to the Lord, Luo Feng is now just 1 step away from completing the semi-Hanuan life and death Dao and hasn't yet hit a bottleneck. He's continuously progressing. With his cultivation speed and potential, even slight obstacles won't be able to stop him. Jie Yi marveled. Indeed. It won't be long before he surpasses us. Feya also showed a hint of envy. There are 3 paths to Invincible Realm. The previous 2 paths both involved refining Hanuan bloodlines and ultimately becoming high-level Hanuan lifeforms. But the third path was different. The semi-Hanuan fusion path under the Lord's guidance, those who achieve it can usually become world-level Hanuan lifeforms. Once they can master their origin world, they become the lord of their origin world. Zheyi also expressed envy. World-level Hanuan lifeforms were incredibly rare even across the entire cultivation system. In terms of status and strength, they were far superior to the two of them. Blank, underscore 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 underscore. End of chapter. Subscribe to MTL World at Middle World 1 YouTube channel.